What's going on, Danya? Elbow, what's going on? Brian, what's going on? What's up, Felicia? We're gonna get started in 1 minute. What's up, Kenji? What's up, Amber? Amber, how you been, man? Claudia, how you doing? Larissa, how you doing? There you go. Masego. What's up, Chantrice? Megan, Deborah, Pat, what's good, man? Hey, Pat, we're gonna talk soon, man. We need to call each other real soon. Well, I hope you think it's good today. So, man, you gotta stay consistent, man. You got to. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Dominique Bond. I'm the founder and CEO of Ace Ambition, and I basically organize youth events that teach young men and young women how to create their own opportunities, how to monetize their ideas. Tonight I was inspired to talk about this topic because when I have a lot of conversations with people, a lot of people, they really overthink a lot of things. And the thing is about overthinking, it causes so much stress in our lives. And it can create so much frustration, so much stress. It can cause anxiety. It can cause all sorts of things that kind of makes us a little flustered when we're trying to make things happen. And I wanted to go over a few things just to help you out with overthinking. This is something that we all do. The best of us overthink. But the thing is, how often are you doing it? And if it's a huge habit, then it's going to really get in your way of really trying to accomplish some of the things that you want to accomplish. And not just get in the way of accomplishing certain things, but staying on that deadline, staying on that timeline. So some of us are not reaching or not staying on our timelines and deadlines simply because we're just overthinking things. And it's small reasons why we're overthinking. All right, so I'm going to go over a few things on what we can do and what we can implement in our lives. Some basic life strategies that we can implement that's going to help you decrease the amount of time that you overthink. What's up, Emmanuel, Sasha, Brianna, Shakira? How you doing? So number one, if you got a notepad and pen, write these things down because this is something that we all do. So don't tell me that you don't do it. Number one is to remind yourself of your ultimate goal. So when you have something that you're trying to figure out on whether I should do this or whether I should A or B, remind yourself of what your ultimate goal is. When you remind yourself of what your ultimate goal is, what you're ultimately trying to accomplish every day, or what your end goal is, that's going to help you decide on which goal or which decision is going to get you to that end goal. That's the main thing, because sometimes what we'll do is we'll get away from what we're trying to be or what we're trying to accomplish long term. And if we act and when we figure out what our end goal is, we're going to be always asking ourselves the right question. Is this going to help me get to that end goal? Is that going to help me get to that ultimate goal? Because if it's not, then you got to ask yourself, why am I considering this? Because there's some things that come into play that sounds good for the moment, but it may not be lined up. It may not be aligned with that end goal. Does that make sense? We can easily get distracted of what sounds good at the moment and not ask ourselves, is this what's really going to get us to where we're trying to be at long term? All right. So remind yourself of what that end goal is. All right. Number two, a big thing that we're very prone of doing is trust your wisdom and trust your discernment. Trust your wisdom and trust your discernment. Some of us, when we get down to certain decisions, situations, we tend to not trust our intelligence. We tend to not trust the experience that we have. We tend not to trust the wisdom that we have. And we will go out and ask people questions of things that we already know. Things that we already know. We'll go to folks who are not even that qualified, and we're asking them for advice from them when we're more qualified than them, when we have more knowledge in that area than them. So we have to stop getting in the habit of not trusting what we have up in here, because we're very intelligent. On a regular basis, so many of us lack confidence and lack trust in what we have when it comes down to our knowledge, when it comes down to our understanding, when it comes down to our intelligence, when it comes down to our wisdom, when it comes down to that discernment. Because what you feeling initially, if you always think about it, what we feeling initially is usually always right. It's usually always right. It's too many times where we think back and we just say, you know what? What I was initially thinking, that was right. What I was initially thinking, that was right. Even when I take tests, I got to understand that, you know what? When I change the answer, most likely that answer going to be wrong. There's a good chance, in my case, I don't know about you all, but in my case, a lot of time when I end up changing the answer, I end up being wrong. So trust your wisdom and trust that discernment. What's up, Jeff? Number three, know the difference. This is going to be quick. Know the difference between what you want and what you really need. What you want and what you really need. There's a big difference. Sometimes what we go for is what we want for the moment. But what we need is what's going to really get us to point A to point B. So know the difference between what you want and what you need. Is this what you need to get to point A to point B? Is this what you need to get to your end goal? Is this what you want just for the moment? Because we can all get caught up in the moment, because like I said before, some things just sound good. Some things just look good, and we want to just decide on that. So when it come down, when you're getting in the moment where you're overthinking, understand, am I overthinking because this is what I really want for the moment, or is this what I really need, or is this just something that I really don't need at all? All right. Number 4, we have to have a game plan for us to help us figure out what we need to be doing. Okay. So one thing I love to do is I love to sit down go to a quiet area, go to my main area, and I'll just have my journal, and I'll just simply write down the pros and cons. Simply write down the pros and cons. When I write things out, for some of us, we try to figure so much up here, and when we really write things down, then we begin to develop a picture for ourselves. And once we begin to write these things down, then we'll start understanding, okay, this looks like this is the right decision I need to make. This looks like this is where I need to be at. Like Amber said, some of us are very visual. And if we understand that about ourselves, my question is, why are you not incorporating that in your life? We have to stop trying to figure out so much up here and really just take time out and say, look, this is a big decision. This is a big situation. I really need to take time out and really plan this out. I really need to take time out and really write everything down and develop a game plan for me that's going to really help me decide on this. Some of us trying to decide on what job we want to have, what job we want to go for, where we want to move, what school we want to go to, what we want to major in, what training we want to have, what business we want to start, what product we want to release, what services we want to start having, whatever the case may be. If you're not sitting down and writing stuff down, then, I mean, like I always tell my students in my workshop, I always tell them, if you're not planning, you plan for failure. It's just that simple. So many of us, I'm a huge advocate. If you've been following me, you know I'm a huge advocate for people to start writing things down. It's a underrated habit that we just don't incorporate in our lives. We just don't write things down at all. We don't write. I have several journals that I write in all the time, and I keep my journal, and sometimes I go back to it. And because there's no telling what type of stuff that I can just take from it and apply to my life right now. But get in the habit of writing things down, you all. Get in the habit, find a place, get a journal, get a pen, and write everything down. And I'm guarantee you, things gonna become a lot more clear to you. All right, number 5. Oh man, number five. Stop taking advice and listening from people who are toxic. Stop listening to the wrong people. Some of us are going to folks who don't even understand our values and our own goals. No one can give you sound advice if they don't understand what your values and your goals are. It's one thing to make a decision, but there's always a motive behind what you're trying to do. And if they don't understand your values and your goals, they can't give you good advice. They can't tell you what's right for you. Some of us are consulting with folks who don't even know us. Some of us are consulting with folks who don't even have our best interests. Some of us are consulting with folks who don't even have it all together. I mean, they're not doing anything right for themselves. So how are they supposed to consult? How are they supposed to give you sound advice? We have to really monitor who we're consulting with, who we're listening to, who we're going to. I mean, there's certain things in life I'm just not going to bring up around folks, because when I hear these negative things on a regular basis, that's going to influence your decision making. I remember there was a point in time where I kept on hearing the same thing from people. And because I heard it so many times, I started considering that decision that people were telling me. And I had to really just snap at them and say, nah, that's not for me. I'm not going to make that decision. That's not for me. So we have to really monitor who we're consulting with. What type of experience do they have? The knowledge that they have. Do they have your best interests? How close do they really know you? Because sometimes if folks don't really know you that well, then they're not going to be able to give you valuable advice. I hope that makes sense for some people. We have to really monitor who we're consulting with. And as I'm going through these points, I really want people to comment, give me some feedback and so forth. I see a lot of people log in. Brandon, what's going on? Krista, what's going on? LaNelson, what's going on? Now, the last one is get in tune to what is pulling you. Get in tune to what is pulling you. If it's pulling you, There's a reason why that's pulling you. It's pulling you for a specific reason. If that's always in the back of your mind, a certain decision is in the back of your mind, that's probably something that you need to consider. It's probably something that you need to consider. If that's the main thing that's always crossing your mind, then it's just something that you may want to consider. I'm not saying that's something you need to be doing, but it's a reason why it's pulling you the way it's pulling you. We have to really monitor what's really connecting with us, what's pulling on us, because there's a reason for it. It's not a coincidence. Get in tune to what is pulling you. All right? Because if it's pulling you, now you got to ask, why is it pulling me? If it's certain decision that's not pulling you, ask yourself, why is it not pulling you? Because there's a reason for that. Folks, many of us are overthinking things on a regular basis, and we're wasting so much valuable time over things that we already know the answer to. Many of us overthink things that we already have the answers to. We already know what decision we have to make. We just got to trust ourselves. We just got to trust ourselves. A lot of times when we overthink ourselves, many of us that overthink ourselves, that's aligned with a lack of confidence. We lack confidence in our knowledge. We lack confidence in our wisdom, our discernment. We have to give ourselves more credit to what we know. We have to give ourselves more credit to our own knowledge. Because if we don't do this, we're just going to keep with this same pattern. It's going to be a habit. It's going to be a habit. So these are some easy points for you to follow. I hope these points is going to help someone. And leave a comment on your favorite point that I left, that I mentioned to you in this video, because I really want some good feedback from you all. And once again, if you haven't already, please like the video. Please share the video so you can help other people who are probably overthinking, just like all of us. All of us are doing this. So I really hope this helps someone. And once again, please share the video. My name is Dominique Bond. I hope this helps somebody. And I thank you for tuning in as always. I love you all. Thank you.